Hey, welcome back. I'm Marvin Perkins with Blacks in the Scriptures, and I'm sitting here today with Jason Energy Lewis. Jason, say hello, man.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to see you. Hey, thanks for being in studio with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Jason is one of my dear friends from Sweden, believe it or not. He looks like he's from Miami, yes, but this brother is from Sweden.
I tan a lot and dye my hair, but try to blend in.
So we did a conference over in Sweden in June 2016, and really feel like we did some good work out of there, and a lot of great things are coming out of it. But Jason and his good wife have actually moved here to the U.S. now, and had a chance to attend one of our firesides recently that we did down at the Los Angeles Temple Visitor Center. So Jason, how was your experience there?
Absolutely amazing. I am so happy that we made the decision to go there. My wife and I, we also brought our good friend Helene to come with us.
Oh, that's right.
And as we were sitting there, I could totally sense a change in the audience participation. It was almost like the audience didn't really at first know what they were to expect when you said we're going to correct and shatter some
paradigms, exactly, without a doubt,
and everything. And the spirit was very, very strong, to say the least.
Yeah. So at what part did you start to feel a change in the room? So take us through getting there, and the starting of the presentation, and when you start to notice what happened take place in the room.
Well, so it's obviously an incredible place to be. To having this conference, because this is right next to the LA Temple, and everyone's so nice, and it was great to meet so many new people. There was a lot of missionaries there, a lot of senior missionaries, and a lot of ordinary members, and the feeling even more so after is what I really, really latched onto and experienced, that there was such a Zion. There was such a Zion there. So
in what sense? I mean, talk to us.
Because there were so many people all at once that I felt that had an epiphany, that just had a realization of something. Oh my goodness, it was this simple all along. People
grow up all of their lives believing that there are black people and there are white people,
right,
that God created the races and everything else,
right,
and we have all these laws and habits and behaviors and everything set up around this, and then when they find out that race is a man-made concept, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as white people or black people.
Right.
I mean, they actually feel free. It's almost like you've taken the mental shackles off of them, and they can actually love their brother and sister and be connected, be one human family.
Right.
And so is that what you were experiencing?
That's exactly what I was experiencing, because afterwards, people were coming up to me, and this is something I don't get asked a lot in church is, what's your experience been growing up, as a darker brother in the faith, and that's something a lot of people don't.
How did that feel, just having somebody ask you that? Because that is something.
It was definitely, it was an interesting, thing, because I got to say, for me, it was very humbling.
Yeah.
Because it was almost a recognition that otherwise might not have been there. That
right, exactly.
It felt almost like a wall had
been taken down. And that's exactly what those presentations and lectures are designed to do: take down walls that separate the human family. And I'm really, really glad you were there. What other good has come out of that for you?
A lot of great correspondence and conversations among other church members, and the same with family and church members back over in Sweden, who also had an opportunity to meet you when you were there. They love you over in Sweden. They absolutely love you. I
love them.
Yeah,
it's a love affair. I love it.
For many people, they were like, "Oh my goodness, it's been staring me right in the face from the scriptures all this time." Most people were like, "Why hasn't anyone just told me this or pointed it out?"
Yeah, you know what, and Cardin and I talk about that all the time. It's like, a lot of people are quick to blame church leaders and say, "Why didn't you tell us this?" And then you should hear how foolish that sounds as soon as it comes out of your mouth, because, hold on, can't you get up and do for yourself?
Right.
All of us have access to the scriptures. I've found out some things, and I'm thinking, "Oh, these guys haven't." Then I think, as soon as I start to say it, I'm thinking look, I have the scriptures. I have the command to study them,
right.
Get to know the Lord, and pray to find out what is true. And so, yeah, I think that's a big aha moment for a lot of people, because there's so much right there, questions they've had, for years and decades.
Yeah.
But they've been sitting right there. But at least it does that for them. It opens up the scriptures and tells them, no, I can find answers there through the scriptures and getting on my knees. So
it's very faith promoting and faith building.
Yep.
It really is, because it is liberating, like you were saying. It's empowering. It's empowering also be able to answer complicated questions that many people have in the most simple ways.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you come on and share that with our audience, simply because there are many church leaders that some of the members will come to them and say, can we sponsor a fireside or a community event in our area? Mm-hmm. And some of them say, absolutely, we absolutely need this. And yes, we've been waiting a long time for something like this, and none of our members know anything about this, and we need to know something. Yep. But then there are some that are apprehensive because they're like, well, this is a sensitive topic.
Right.
And the church leaders don't even talk about this topic. What can anybody else say that the church leaders haven't said? Right. And so they really don't know. And so they have a little fear, a little apprehension, and they sometimes will take the stand, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Right.
Nobody gets helped with that.
No.
But I think just when I heard you sharing with me last week what you were sharing in your experience while you were there, I said, Jason's got to tell this to the folks, because some of these church leaders will see this and say, you know what? It is an edifying event. It is something that we never in a million years could have imagined it would have been like that. I think one of the most common comments that we received after these firesides and lectures is, if we would have known it was going to be like this, we would have brought more people.
Wow.
And so, what about your wife? We'll have her on to speak about it sometime, but how did she feel about what she saw?
Absolutely loved it. She was, as you know, she was going around taking pictures as well.
Oh, that's right. She was a great photographer.
But she absolutely loved it. And I will definitely let her tell it when she's on here. But I can also tell you that Helene was very moved. Now, Helene, who's been a member of the church for a very, very long time, and it's like my second mom, was very moved by it, and just felt such a peace came out of it, because we know that, for every question there's an answer.
Right.
And whenever we find a question, that's a good thing, because then that means that there's an answer.
Right.
But are we willing to hold on? Are we willing to hold out for that answer? And I believe most members kind of get comfortable or complacent in, well, I don't understand it yet, so I'm going to let it be on the Lord's time. Whereas I think a lot of times the Lord is willing to tell us if we're really diligent and willing to seek it.
Right.
Because if we seek, we shall find.
Absolutely. Hey, so my brothers and sisters over in Sweden, I love you guys, and thank you for the love back. One of the reasons we were over there is because there was a former member of the 70 who had read an essay on polygamy, lost his testimony, and left the church, and then several others left too. And I really wish desperately that I can have a conversation with that brother and all of the 200 that left, and anybody who's thinking about leaving. If you focus on the brethren, then your testimony is going to be shaky, because they're human. You're expecting them to be perfect, and they're not, plain and simple. The scriptures even tell us very, very clearly, Doctrine and Covenants, section 1, verse 24 through 28 tells us he gave this to them in their weakness. He knows they're going to make mistakes. He knows sometimes they're not going to seek him. He knows sometimes they're going to sin. But, some of these members aren't reading their scriptures, and so they don't understand that the leaders are going to have a human experience as well. And they're so focused on them. But I like to give the example of focusing on, like Peter, when he was walking on water. He could walk on water as long as he kept his focus on the Savior.
Right.
And as soon as he took his focus off the Savior, that's when he began to sink. Yeah. And it's a simple antidote for keeping our testimony strong. Focus on the Savior. So,
and I feel we become better missionaries when we're able to provide answers to questions that people have.
Isn't that great?
There are answers. There are answers for everything, and most people want to know, what's the purpose of life? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Yes. It's just a very simple, basic questions of life, And sometimes we take the gospel for granted and the knowledge that we've been given, and we might get to a point where we stop our progression just by relying on, if I just follow someone else, I'll be set. And if I don't,
it's easy because man can be naturally pretty lazy, and if I just allow somebody else to do it for me, I don't have to do it. It's what I call the welfare mentality, and that if you don't get up and do it for yourself, you're not going to be in the habit of doing it. Right. And so. I'm really, really grateful that you were able to be here to share this message. Hopefully it resonates with some, even if it touches just one of those leaders who says, yes, I was apprehensive, and now that I've seen this, I really feel like this would be an edifying thing for our stake or for our region or for our area. Just so many lives will be blessed, just if one. I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of lives can be blessed if just one is taken down, one wall is taken down there in the mind of one of the leaders. So thanks for coming on and sharing your story, Jason.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope to see you again. Can you come back sometime?
Absolutely.
Share some of your experiences with us. Yeah, Jason is a great actor and doing some great things, and so I'm really looking forward to having him back. So for Blacks in the Scriptures, I'm Marvin Perkins, and this is Jason Energy Lewis, and we'll see you next time.